and beautiful are the shores of California, westward goal of your coast-to-coast voyage. Here, the broad Pacific purls and pulses on the sunny frontier of America. For here was the first white settlement on our Pacific coast.
Pearl, there is probably no single area holding so much of charm and beauty and the good things of life as Southern California. Inviting beaches, paradise for sportsmen, rendezvous for romance under sunny skies. This is the lure of the West along the golden shores of California.
Sun, sand, surf, and people living on the streets.
Well, sadly, that last one is becoming a hallmark of Southern California.
LA is now considered the worst with homelessness. It now tops New York City. Take a look at the street below. It is lined with tents. Executive Director of LASA.
There's more than 500,000 Angelinos who are severely rent burdened, which means they're paying more than half their income for rent.
Programs provided 14,000
for as long as there's been a Los Angeles Times.
Some of the very people we try hardest to help have come to hate us passionately. Maybe that's our fault for asking too little. Maybe the problem is deeper than that. And whatever the cause, this cannot continue. It's not sustainable. A warning to the rest of us, or else.
The morning after that swell movie show, Henry and I found ourselves being taken out to the airport. We were leaving Southern California. I don't know why I should have felt so weepy. It was only a trip. But this was different somehow. Everything had been so perfect.
I have some stuff to share with you concerning California, the Golden State. A lot of people think that, well, and they ain't lying. They're lying about it, but a lot of people, especially Mexicans, are saying that, and especially the illegal aliens by some weird reason, or for some real reason, weird reason, are saying that California was stolen from Mexico. Well, Nick is here, my producer, and Nick is going to give you a little history in support of White History Month. Going to give you a little history on California, the Golden State, and the fact that it was not stolen from Mexico. It's just a lie. Good morning again, Nick.
Good morning.
And so let's have it.
Yeah, well, actually, I was inspired yesterday because I had an argument with this Mexican guy about Mexico and California, and he was claiming all that stuff, right?
Mexico.
That, yeah, California is originally Mexico, and that America stole it, and all that racism, blah, blah, blah. I suspected he was an illegal.
You suspect he wasn't illegal?
Yeah, I'm just like thinking. I actually literally Googled, are you allowed to report illegals? But anyways, so I made that clip together just because I was inspired. And anyway,
nice. It was very nice.
So just FYI, for those who don't know, in 1848, there was a treaty signed, the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. And this little-known treaty is kind of a big part of American history, California history. And it's pretty much in 1848, with that treaty signed, was what started California's statehood. The state of California was created. And the moments leading up to the treaty, well, basically in that area of the Southwest, people think, oh, all these Mexicans used to live there and their homes were taken. But actually only 80,000 Mexicans lived in the Southwest area. And the Mexicans themselves, they didn't have much control over the area. They were a country in turmoil. In 1821 to 1846, they had like 50 military coups. They had 3 different constitutions. There was a whole country in a lot of turmoil.
So through 1847.
Yeah.
Okay.
From 1820. So in just 20 years, the Mexicans at the time were just, their country they were having a lot of issues, 3 different constitutions in 20 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyways, what led up to the treaty, at the time, in the area, it was ruled by the Spanish in Mexico. And there was a peoples in Mexico in an area called New Spain that were of Spanish descent, mixed descent, and they were called actually criollos, or I think in English Creole. So I think there's their origin, Joel. I'm not sure.
That would be Joel.
I think there's your origin story. I don't know where's the connection. I don't know if it's the same type of Creole, but I haven't Googled that.
A Creole is a Creole is a Creole.
So, yeah. Anyways, at the time, the Creoles, the criollos or whatever, they rose up against the Spaniards, the Spanish who ruled Mexico at the time.
Right.
And they rose up against them. And this part of history is interesting because the Mexicans of today will tell you that the Creoles of the time, they were yelling, "Yankee, go home," and that they were starting a war with America. That's a lie. They were rising up against their own people, against the Spanish who ruled over them. Their motto wasn't "Yankee, go home." Their motto was "Death to the Spanish."
Really?
Yeah.
This is why you can't trust people who are these people who are these Mexicans and these blacks who are talking about slavery and the white man stole the land. It's all lies.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
So, things happen and some time passes and it leads to a bit of a battle between the Mexicans and the Americans. You see, the Mexicans owed America $3 million, and they kept defaulting on their debt.
Oh, of course. Si, senor.
So they kept defaulting on their debt, and tensions rose. Around this time, U.S. Gained Texas, which a lot of Texas was actually undisputed land. It wasn't Mexico, and this caused more tension. It led up to Mexico drawing first blood in an area near Texas, and then war. Mexico and America, they fought. America ended up winning, and the cost to gaining California was 13,000 American men and $18 million.
Amazing.
So it wasn't. It didn't cost us nothing. We paid for that. Anyways, all this leads up to the treaty, the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo.
Right.
That was beneficial for both sides. Mexico, a country in turmoil, gained a lot from that treaty, and in return, we annexed California. And our neighbors to the south for 150 years have looked up to us in terms of, all the things we have and the way we live life. And I think Californians should be proud of their heritage.
Yeah.
They should be proud of this history of California.
But the problem is most California don't know the real history anymore. Mm-hmm. It's been so watered down. The kids have been lied to in the schools, and the so-called politicians are lying. These Democrats are lying, and they just don't really know what the truth is.
It's a shame. I got here this year, right? And just looking around and seeing California and hearing about it and seeing it with my own eyes, it's like, it's kind of shameful because I've fallen in love with California, but it's like, wow, to see where it is, Or maybe I've just seen L.A., so...
No, it's a mess. And when I came in 1968, it was beautiful even then. It is horrible now.
I wish I saw it back then.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the L.A. Times is reporting that desperate to get rid of homeless people, some are using prickly plants, fences, and barrels. Many L.A., and we have pictures of it, I believe, many L.A. residents and business owners are frustrated by the growing homelessness crisis. Look at that.
So residents had to do it themselves because the city won't.
But yet the residents won't vote out the Democrats. It's the Democrats who are doing it, and whatever the Democrats get these people to vote for, they vote on it.
I know. I have this conversation with Californians every day.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys know you voted for this, right?
So residents are taking matters into their own hands, putting obstacles in public spaces.
Yeah.
Protect their homes and businesses by doing that. They can make homeless people feel unwelcome. Would they go home if they'll go back if we make them feel unwelcome?
Well, actually, interestingly, these people, these business owners in this area, I think it's a street called South Bend or South Street. in California, in Southern California somewhere, and it's kind of working because there's no space to put down your tent. So I'm just gonna move on.
Amazing.
And all these millions of dollars we put into homeless prevention and all these programs, but these residents and homeowners with some planters, a couple $100.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So far, the obstacles have been effective. South Hope Street is now cleaner. Many say even the few homeless people who remains, note the number of people camping in the area has declined. That's good news. But it's so weird, though. They keep voting in these Democrats. These Democrats keep voting open borders, come on in, safe areas, or whatever they call it, safe states.
Oh, sanctuary states?
Yeah, sanctuary states. And it's a mess. So they don't the people know they need to vote out the Democrats?
I have this conversation every day with Californians, and like they won't know much about me, and they're like, "Oh, Nick, he seems like a nice guy," and then I'll like say something about California, and I'll be like, "Hey, I don't know, guys. Maybe you should look at one of these red states as an example," and they'll look at me like, "Oh." They start kind of finding out what I really stand for.
Breitbart has reported that border apprehensions dropped to the lowest level since March. Apprehensions by Border Patrol agents of migrants who illegally cross the U.S. border with Mexico dropped nearly 29% in June. That's good news.
That's good news, huh?
The Great White Hope.
Thank you.
Making America great again. Reaching the lowest level since March, the decrease follows seasonal patterns and increased immigrant enforcement in Mexico following President Donald Trump's threat to tariffs. So
it's working.
The president threatened them. Now they're finally doing a little bit in Mexico. And you can't trust them even now, though.
Yeah.
That they're doing all that they can do to stop it in Mexico.
I agree. I don't think the Mexicans are gonna want all these people at their doorstep. So once they start arriving, they'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that clip you put together.
Oh yeah,
that we played.
A little dramatic, huh? But
it was very nice.
Thanks.
It really showed what has really happened to California. And I think a lot of people are gonna be shocked to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazing thing, man.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it. That's my little thing on California.
That's amazing. Thank you, man.
Of course.
Why History Month?
Heck yeah.
Making America great again.